Today's telecast is brought to you by Code 4, a full-service agency in Huntington Beach with over a decade of experience in pretty much everything, including 5 main divisions. Code 4, aiming to deliver solution-based results for their clients and brands. We're here in the home half of the 4th inning. Titans on top 6-0 after scoring in each of the last 3 innings. Kienan Dixon, Mike Martinez here on ESPN Plus on a chilly May night. Plenty of wind blowing through. This 6-0 game as Jack Haley steps in to lead off the 4th inning for the Titans. On a no count to Haley, who had a squeeze bunt with 2 outs back in the 2nd inning. At a push just past the pitcher's mound. This one is lifted into shallow left center field and in no man's land for a leadoff base hit. 2 for 2 night for Jack Haley.
Titans continue to make contact. And good enough contact that it's not outs. Finding a lot of green. Getting good pieces of these pitches where they're not making outs. That's a huge difference. Sometimes you're hitting the ball, 80% of the time, and you're making outs 95% of the time. Tonight's not one of those nights. Titans have 10 hits here just at the start of the 4th inning.
James Hepp, the 6'7" pitcher in for UCLA. As he faces the top of the order for the Titans here with nobody out and a runner on first. Hepp making his 3rd appearance of the season. Appeared against Arizona State a couple of weeks ago, and then at Long Beach State last week. He's pitched a total of an inning, giving up 1 run on 2 hits.
Yeah, that's not a lot. That's throwing him in end of the season. So is he coming off a little bit of an injury, or just kind of slow to get him going? But if you're coming into midweek in May, they're trying to see if you have something that they might be able to use down at the end of the season.
Runner goes as this is fouled off into the seats to the left. 1-2 count to Carter White.
And on 1-1, Titans taking their chances. They're putting Haley in motion. You got a 6'7" pitcher up there. You got a chance to steal an extra step or 2 just on that alone. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hepp out of Santa Clarita, 6'7" freshman. In his appearance last week against Long Beach State, he made 1 pitch, and it was the walk-off home run. This one's lifted into left field. Oyama played it well and is there for out number 1. So Hepp came up in a high leverage situation and made 1 pitch that just wasn't good enough. Here he is in the middle innings. Has a chance to come into a fresh inning. It's 1 out and a runner on first with Jackson Lyon coming up. Lyon 2 for 2 with a couple of runs. Hit the ball hard up the middle in his first at-bat and then hit it through the 5-6 hole in his 2nd at-bat last inning. Oh, and 1 count.
Next guy's up. Looks like that's 10. Nate Leibold for UCLA, a right-hander out of Seattle. And next guy up for the Titans right now is left-hander Josh Howitt.
Oh, and 1 count with a runner on first. Runner stays put, hit hard into left field, and it's a 3-hit game for Jackson Lyon.
Three-hit game by the fourth inning.
First baseman, number 5.
An impressive showing from Lyon as he continues his strong hitting for the Titans. And it's a runner on first and second here for Caden Connor.
Looked like that was a sizable miss spot by Het because the catcher went to set up outside. The pitch was in on the hands. So it got away from him a little bit, and Lyon saw a fastball in, middle in, and got to it. 11 hits for the Titans. And you can't stop. You can't stop because you never quite know. And the Titans, teams that has struggled pitching, they go through it. They're like, okay, we know we have to keep scoring. We have to keep trying to get hits. There's a little bit of pressure that comes with that. But there's also a good mentality that comes with, okay, every inning we're trying to score. Any spot in the lineup.
And the script really has been flipped based on season statistics tonight. UCLA's pitching staff, a 3.40 ERA. Fullerton, it's quite the opposite, 5.62. And yet here we are in the fourth inning. Fullerton threatening to add on another run in a 6-0 game.
Nothing on their numbers that really says there's a soft spot, you know, in their midweek pitching. A couple high ERAs, but you know, it's really just 2 or 3. Most of the guys have respectable ERAs, so you would figure, okay, in a midweek they'll be all right. UCLA 7-4 in midweeks. They lost their first 2, and they lost their first 2, and they've also lost their most recent 2. We need 7 straight in between.
Of the UCLA pitchers over 2 innings this season, or over an inning this season rather, there's just one that's over a 4.2 or over a 4 ERA, and that's Charles Harrison, has a 4.2. So a pretty consistently dominant pitching staff for UCLA has sort of been exposed in the last 4+ games, and they're really trying to figure things out as they're going backwards in a part of the season where you want to be going forward.
Yeah, you lose a couple one-run games. You lose one in the 12th at Long Beach. You'd like to have a little better showing in a Friday game, lost 7-1. And then you talk about Washington's probably not that great a team, and they also lose the second and the third game. Those are the ones you want to get, because yeah, somebody might have a Friday guy and they're not that good the rest of the weekend, but UCLA didn't get any of them.
Fouled off again. 2-2 count to Caden Connor.
The good news is there's always time to turn it around. And I remember that 2013 team for UCLA, and they came in through the Super Regional here against a Titan team that was nationally seeded. And it could have been very well the 2 best teams in college baseball. UCLA went undefeated in the postseason. They peaked, they found it, they pitched, they caught everything, and they had good timely hitting. They always scored first in the postseason. And those are the things you're trying to do. So when you're struggling, those are the things you try to hang on.
Hit down the foul line and into the Fullerton bullpen. And the Pac-12 is so bunched up right now. UCLA with a couple more series at home against Washington State. They'll play a midweek at UC Irvine next week, and then they'll hit the road and go to Corvallis and play one of the top teams in the country and the top team in the Pac-12, Oregon State. But UCLA just a game clear of Arizona State, 3 games clear of Utah. Rather, a game clear of Oregon and 2 games clear of Arizona State. This one's hit hard. Over to second base, tracking to his left is Dalen Reyes, and it's a close play over at first, but he's able to get the out. A productive out, nonetheless, as Haley moves up to third.
Titans able to stay out of the double play there. Haley at third and Jackson Lyon at second now. Take a ground ball out. If you know, you give a 2 RBI chance here to one of your best hitters in Austin Shell.
Austin Shell 1 for 2, hitting .390 this season. He's been hammering the ball. We haven't seen him in the last couple of midweeks, but it's a start in the designated hitting spot today. Base hit could cash in 2 here for the Titans. Bruins looking to avoid their 5th straight loss. They hadn't been swept in a series all season until this weekend. They lost all 3 to Washington. Uncharacteristic weather here in May and uncharacteristic baseball by this UCLA team that has been so consistently good all season. Here's a 2-0 pitch on the outside part for strike one.
Yeah, sometimes maybe you have an injury or two, you know, here or there. Things crop up during the season. Coaches then have to maybe tinker with a lineup just a little bit. Or guys struggle, and then you tinker with the lineup because of that. And then you always have coaches like John Savage. Their focus is on end of the season. Okay, let's just peak. Okay, we struggle here. Let's figure it out and keep it moving forward.
Here's a 2-1. Swung on. It's 2-2.
Yeah, you don't expect UCLA to drop 4 in a weekend, whether they're one-run games or whatever. You know, but there's no real easy trips in the Pac-12. It was something that Hookie said when he was here, because he coached at UCLA under Savage, and he said, wow, the Big West and Pac-12 travel, totally different. Because you have to get on a plane every other week in the Pac-12. Where in the Big West, you take a bus trip to Cal Poly, it's 4 hours. Davis, maybe it's 6 hours on the bus. Okay, you fly out once to Hawaii every other year. And it's not quite the same. So you get a little bit of that attrition. And you just hope that guys can start to feel fresh at the end of the season.
2 on, 2 out, 2-2 count. Here to Austin Shell. Hep working from the stretch, kicks and delivers, and it's hit hard into center field and drops in front of Carson Yates. 1 run scores, another is in without a throw, and the Titans take an 8-0 lead here in the 4th.
Yeah, that's Austin Shell doing what Austin Shell's been doing all year.
First baseman, number 1.
Getting on pitches and finding spots, hitting line drives, finding grass, staying middle of the diamond. It's just a good, consistent approach. He's got it narrowed down. You know, the great hitters will tell you, hey, don't worry about the pitcher having 4 or 5 pitches. You concentrate on 1 or 2 pitches in 1 or 2 zones, and then you'll be okay.
So it brings up Zach Liu after RBIs number 20 and 21 by Austin Shell. His second hit tonight as he continues to improve that very impressive batting average. On a no count here to the Titan third baseman. A run in each inning for Fullerton.
Haven't been stopped yet.
12 base hits. Two and 0 count here with 2 outs to Liu. It's 1 for 2 today with a run scored.
Funny thing about that earlier UCLA game, that was one of the midweeks the Titans actually pitched one of their better midweek games of the season. UCLA won with 5 runs. But a couple times the Titans have given up double-digit runs on a midweek, including last week against BYU.
This one's hit hard through the 5-6 hole past the outstretched glove of Cody Schreier. And again, the Titans piecing together back-to-back base hits to put more pressure on UCLA.
Yeah, so you figure with the way they pitched against UCLA the first time, if you could hold them to 5 or so, you've already got 8. And you can keep it going, maybe get a couple. Now you put some pressure on UCLA to think, oh, whoa, we haven't been hitting the ball that well the last week. Now we got to go chase 8. And so just more good hitting by these veteran Titan hitters. That, you know, there's games here and there where they do get stopped, but by and large, they've had a good hitting season. 281. I'd have to check where they are in the Big West Conference, but they've been at or near the top all season.
Builds confidence going into this weekend. Titans will be back in action at home. This is on the outside part, or in there for a strike rather, to Jacob Shart.
And Shart following suit. Getting a spot start, his first start, and he has 2 hits.
Hitting is contagious. We're seeing that tonight for the Titans. 7 batters have had a base hit tonight. Shart has had 2. This is his 3rd at bat in as many innings. Oh, 0-2 count as James Hepp looks to get out of this nightmare inning. Kicks and delivers, and the high fastball is swung on and missed for strike 3. 4 hits and a couple of runs for Fullerton as they're up 8-0. He head to the 5th here on ESPN Plus.